Hi there, I'm Chris Devine and this is Six String World. So for today's Gear of the Year item, it's Boss's MS3 Multi Effect Switcher. Now, previously I mentioned in the Source Audio Collider Gear of the Year episode that I needed to be able to call up stored delay and reverb presets for specific songs, and this idea takes that to the next level. Boss took their ES style switching system and knocked off a couple of the loops and added in a full GT style effects section, and that has drives, EQs, modulations, delays, reverbs, and pretty much every Boss effect ever made, and it basically combines a switcher with an effects unit all in one. Now I'm going to call up a picture of my pedal board and we can take a look at it. Right now I have my signal hitting the Runway Audio input box, which is just a pass-through, and then it goes into the MS3. In loop 1 of the MS3 I have the Fuzzrocious Moth Fuzz. In 2 I have Earthquaker's Plumes, and in loop 3 I have Vertex's Dynamic Distortion. My signal then leaves the MS3 and goes into the Source Audio Collider, which I have connected via MIDI, and it talks to the MS3. So what that basically means is I can have presets in the MS3 engage the collider to change the delay and reverb patches as I need to for that setting. After the Source Audio, it goes back into the Runway Audio box, and then it goes into my amp. Now, what this really means is I can have a patch on the MS3 with loop 1 on with a chorus from inside the MS3, and then it will engage the Source Audio's Spring Reverb. So that's great. It's one patch already done for me. Then I also have a patch that's the plumes with a delay from the Source Audio, and then an EQ from the MS3. And the combinations are pretty much endless when you have the 3 external pedals combined with all the internal effects built into the MS3 itself. Now, a key thing for this is Boss has a software editor that connects the MS3 via USB to a computer. And this makes it a lot easier to lay out patches and gets really into the deep editing and the routing options without a lot of hassle. It's a lot easier to navigate all those effects parameters and the device controls on a large computer screen as it is on that small screen on the front of the unit. Now it has 2 expression/external control outs, which basically means I can have the Boss EV30 expression pedal connected to it, which I do have, and I can assign that to an effect on the MS3, like the chorus rate on one patch, and in another it can control the parameters of the Source Audio Collider as it's connected via MIDI. The Boss FS7 is into my second output of that, and I can actually use that for switching banks up and down for the device. Now, I find it a lot easier having to do that than having to hit 2 of the buttons on the MS3 to engage bank up or bank down functions. It's just easier to have it as a separate pedal on the side. Now, I know the cabling looks very messy, but at this point, I'm still kind of figuring out the best method of how to use this. And until I nail everything down, this works fine. And just as a maybe preview of things to come, I might be getting myself a new pedal board this year, fingers crossed, and when that happens I'll definitely be going down the road of getting some custom cables for the audio and the power for it. And basically what this has really kind of done to my pedal board is it's a modular multi-effects device with expandability and routing. Let's say if I have to swap out the plumes for something like my EHX Synth 9, and I can now make patches that will work with that pedal as needed. I'll just have to keep in mind of what preset is using what loop and why, and what pedal is meant to be in whatever loop if I do start switching things around on that device. You can also name the presets as needed, so that will also be a helpful guide to lay that out. Now, as it has a lot of delays and reverbs inside there, you might be thinking, well, why do you need the collider then? Well, what the collider does is a couple things that the MS3, it does well, but I prefer the collider for. And one of them is the shimmer effect. That's definitely not inside the MS3. And this definitely gives me an option that isn't inside that unit, which is great. The other thing I've also got going on for it is the True Spring reverb is my favorite reverb sound at this point, from either between the MS3 and the Collider. It's just that natural, nice amp reverb that Source Audio really nails. And I have to say that I really like it. And if there's a reverb or a delay sound inside the MS3, I'm kind of trying to port those ideas into the Collider and put it into one location. And I like the overall sound fidelity of the Collider, and it's just a lot easier for me somehow to edit and deal with, even on the fly. So I can make that work for what I've got going on. But I'll tell you, it is nice to have all the Boss effects in one little spot. They have some rare items that Boss hasn't released in a very long time, such as the slow gear. I've always wanted to play around with the slicer pedal as well. That's something that I've always wanted to try to explore, but it's a big pedal and a lot to commit to on a pedal board for something that would be kind of trying to navigate to see if it would really work for me. Also, the pitch shifting. With the expression pedal, you can get into some kind of whammy effects. The octaves as well too, being doing all sorts of octave shifting up and down, which is very cool. And I tell you, they really have everything in there. And while everything is awesome to have, I don't think I would be using them all the time. So getting an individual pedal for each of those effects would be something I wouldn't be able to fit on a board practically, but I would actually like to be able to use now and then. So having them on the MS3 allows me to play with those without having to commit more pedal board space, which is pretty sweet overall. It's great. Just also, it's just more saves money. You don't have to worry about buying a pedal for a certain effect, and most of them are usually in there. All the internal drives are fantastic. I love the Blues driver versions that they have in there, and having the DS1 in there is very well. It's a really great pedal. I love that classic Boss distortion, but I don't use it all that often. I have a lot of other drive pedals that cover that, but if I ever need one, it's always there at my feet, and that's really kind of nice. Now, I haven't used this for any gigs yet, but it's been in practice, and it's really nice to be able to hit a single button and have all the pedals, all the effects kick in as I need without having to do a bunch of tap dancing and turning on and off multiple devices. Each time I've come home from practice, I've had a little bit of homework to do to kind of explore and see if I can do a couple of other things a lot easier with the device on its own and tailoring it to my needs, which is fantastic. A perfect example is we do the Post Malone song Circles, and it's a great tune. I usually use a straight guitar sound, which is kind of cool, a nice sweet guitar sound for the beginning. I use the string sound is for the shimmer effect, and then I have a nice ambient chorusy delay reverb sound in there as well. And being able just to hit a button and get those three individual sounds just for one song really makes it a game changer for what I'm doing. We're approaching 2021, and I know there's going to be a lot of new drive pedals out there. There's always new drive pedals, and there's always going to be one that I have to have. And while I have these three drive pedals in loops right now, that'll probably change. I've got, actually for Christmas, my wife got me the Nobels ODR1 Mini, and I plan on finding out which one of these pedals I have on my board now actually might get booted for that pedal. So it's nice to be able to have this modular and not committing to certain sounds, but being able to pull in what you need to. So it really makes sense overall. But I'll tell you, overall, I'm very pleased with this device, and I'm still digging into it, and I'm sure I'm going to find more ways of using what I've got in there to go quite a bit deeper and fill in a lot more holes that I would normally be trying to find with other pedals, and being able to just, again, find out how I can make a patch that works best for one song or even part of a song, which would be very cool to be able to do. And it's really nice to be able to just press one button and have everything change, but I'm also not committed to an all-in-one effects device that has drives and that usually don't integrate well. I've known some players that love the sound of their classic fuzz face, but it doesn't integrate well with some of their multi-effects devices. It just, sometimes they do, sometimes they don't. And this actually, everything kind of plays nicely with each other, which is very cool. But anyways, that's today's episode for the 2020 Gear of the Year. And I'd love to know about what you guys have going on. If it's, are you using a switcher? Are you using a multi-effects device? Are you using a Boss MS3? Please share that in the comment section below. And if you like this video, please hit the subscribe button, and the bell icon will let you know when I put up a new video. If you like this video, you can click the thumbs up button, and if you want to share it, there's a button for that as well. And I want to thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you soon. Take care.